Hi and welcome to Ectoplasmic Fantastic. I'm Andrew.
I'm Molly.
And I'm going to open with a quote. The quote is from the London Evening News of 2nd of November 1968. On the night of Halloween 1968, a graveyard desecration by persons unknown occurred at Tottenham Park Cemetery in London. These persons arranged flowers taken from graves in circular patterns with arrows of blooms pointing to a new grave, which was uncovered. A coffin was opened and the body inside disturbed, but their most macabre act was driving an iron stake in the form of a cross through the lid and into the breast of the corpse. Molly,
Yes.
what are we going to be talking about?
Oh my god, it's finally here. Today, we're going to talk about the Highgate Vampyre.
Highgate Vampyre! I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, this is excellent. This is like top tier shit right here.
This is what I love so much. Is that it only happened like 40 or 50 years ago and it gripped everyone.
Yeah, the whole start to finish, this is an iconic tale.
This is, I mean, I can't believe there have not been more movies about this. I can't believe there has not been more about it. I only found out about the Highgate Vampyre when I read a book by an author called Fred Vargas called, I think it was The Silent Places.
Fred Vargas,
a beautiful French author.
Oh, not a vampire then, because Vargas sounds like he might be, hiding something. Vargas.
Yeah. I was trying to turn it into vampire and
quite
I can't.
Quite a vampiric name.
And it introduced me to the concept because it's about a murder mystery around Highgate that incorporates the Highgate Vampyre. Then I did a deep dive and I fell in love with it. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So I found out about this story just through my lonely childhood reading of, of real life hauntings, and I remember reading about it and thinking, oh, I'm going to go live in Highgate one day. I lived in Highgate. Well, no, I lived in Muswell Hill. But my local tube station was Highgate for 3 years. I used to go to Highgate Cemetery.
Anecdote.
I know. Used to go to Highgate Cemetery quite a lot. Karl Marx is buried there. Big up.
Who, it turns out, was not a comedian.
Oh, you're getting confused with...
I get my Karl. Everyone was like, oh my god, Karl Marx is buried in Highgate Cemetery. And I was like, he was a guy with funny glasses and a stupid moustache. Why do I care? And they were like, no, Andrew, different Marx. I was like, oh, fuck, I need to read more books.
Still a funny guy. Actually, no, pretty serious.
Let's go totally serious.
Father of communism. Yeah.
Communism?
Yeah, I'm going to go there.
Well, if you're going there, I'm going to say no. Boo communism. Carry on.
I've known about the Highgate Vampyre in the back of my mind for a really long time. Andrew got me this really good book called Occult London by a writer called Merlin Coverley. Is Merlin his real name?
Yes.
Let's go with yes. Which is just a history of all the occult things that have happened in London. Obviously, it's one of my faves. It's got a chapter about the Highgate Vampyre. And yeah, I think the fact that it was in the late 60s and early 70s, which was not that fucking long ago, is excellent. There was some kind of like mad occult revival in the 1960s and 70s, wasn't there? There was all
what a time to be alive.
I know.
Every movie that was on in the cinema was had tits.
Yeah.
Tits
everywhere.
It was tits everywhere, but it was also either Satan's gonna eat you or vampires are gonna eat you.
Yeah.
And I live for it. Like, everything was... There was... not Bruce Lee. Who am I thinking of? Christopher Lee was in all of the Dracula movies.
Yeah.
There was Count Yorga. All of them. Everything was vampires.
And lurid, like, Technicolor, like, red blood and...
All blood is red.
Big titty vampires everywhere.
Yeah, oh god, all those lesbian vampires.
Yeah, so many.
Oh my god. I don't know why I'm gushing. That's the most heterosexual thing I've said. All lesbian vampires. Oi, oi.
Oh, it's just a bit of kitsch, isn't it? It's kitsch
Oh,
now.
I do like a bit of kitsch. That's it. My gayness is resonating with the kitsch.
Yeah, it's like the same.
Your gayness is resonating with the kitsch.
Well, I resonate with kitsch.
You're a gay man.
I am a gay man at heart, really. Is that offensive to say? You can tell me if it is.
I don't care. You've got a bigger cock than me. Actually, no, you don't.
Wait.
Wait. No, you know, actually, never ask me if anything's offensive because you know that in a minute I'm going to make a Nazi joke.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that.
Steal yourself for that, you little snowflake.
So, according to Occult London, the facts surrounding this case, however, almost entirely obscured by the superstructure. You ever heard that word before?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't. Rumour, exaggeration and myth which has been built upon them. So I don't know if you're all surprised to hear that the vampire story is shrouded in rumour, exaggeration and myth.
No!
I, for one, am shocked.
You mean there's no cold hard facts?
There
are some cold hard facts.
There's a few chilled facts.
Okay.
So this all seems...
I'm dying. Sorry.
You're right.
We got the black lung. That's not offensive.
The black lung.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, rumour, suspicion, surprise.
So this all seemed to kick off. Obviously, it came to a grand climax in...
I like a grand climax.
Don't we all? Especially when it involves two rival vampire hunters. Oh my god. That should be a 70s, slasher horror in itself.
It really should.
Started in the late 1960s. Two schoolgirls were walking home down Swains Lane, and one of them saw graves opened up and people rising. 16-year-old Elizabeth she's got a Polish surname that I'm not going to attempt to pronounce.
Wojciak?
No. Wojdyla.
Wojlia.
Let's go with it. I like it. Which, when we both saw this scene of graves directly in front of us, and the graves were opening up and the people were rising. And then the book just casually says that she suffered demonic possession after seeing this, but no detail is given. It just says Sean Manchester, he's one of the vampire hunters who we are going to get into. Employed, right, listen to how great this is, employed in an unofficial capacity as a part-time exorcist. Wow.
So he's a part-time exorcist.
An unofficial
part-time
exorcist.
So that would mean that he's not authorised by the Catholic Church to perform exorcisms?
Yeah, it must be.
Like the Warrens.
Oh, yeah.
They got into a lot of trouble because they were not authorised.
Unofficial exorcist.
Yeah, they went around doing exorcisms that weren't sanctioned by the Catholic Church, and so...
An unlicensed exorcist.
Yeah.
I wouldn't... if I was going to get an exorcism, I'd want legit.
Well, yeah, is it going to a backroom doctor who, doesn't have a licence to practice medicine?
Yeah.
Or a lawyer that didn't pass the bar?
And he was also part-time exorcist, so...
What was he doing full-time? Barista?
Yeah, graphic designer.
No, that's not a real job.
No. What do people do, part-time? So Exorcist was his, side hustle. You know how everyone in our generation supposedly got a side hustle? I do.
It's like how people go, I'm a screenwriter, but what they actually mean is they work in Lidl and then they go home and cry over their laptop while they try and write their magnum opus.
Yeah. Did you mean the last 4 years of my life?
Yes, I was looking at you as I said it. You just don't work in Lidl.
So he's working... I don't know, it's the 1970s, right?
Co-op?
Yeah, let's say he's working a co-op, but he's actually an exorcist, part-time exorcist.
He knows where the eggs are, but he also knows where the demons are.
In Manchester. And there was loads of ghosts and unexplained occult happenings around Highgate Cemetery.
Oh, can I tell you my favourite?
Yes, please.
I like the face glaring through the bars of a gate.
Oh, I like that one too.
The spectral cyclist did not scare me as much. Woman in white, casually apathetic. Figure wading into a pond is just sad. Bells ringing, meh. Voices calling. Voices calling. I'm sorry, you cannot say that voices calling are a supernatural occurrence, because all he probably heard was, Bobby, it's your tea!
Yeah. Or like shouting for a dog.
I know. Betsy!
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 Pamela!
Who calls a dog Pamela?
It was in a script I wrote ages ago.
On a sidebar, Pamelas are like Lindas. Have you ever seen or heard of a Pamela or a Linda that's under 40? They're like baby pigeons. They're not real.
One. No, I have met a girl called Linda who was like my age.
Oh, that is so sad.
Isn't it weird?
Because it's like you never see a baby pigeon. They just appear fully formed.
Yeah.
And Pamelas and Lindas are just not born. They just appear at middle age, on the cusp of menopause.
Wanting to speak to the manager.
Yeah, sorry, so Pamela was the dog's name, got it.
Yeah,
but yeah, these ghosts are shit apart from... If I walked past an iron gate and saw an angry face going "Rrr," through there at me, that I would find quite scary.
Yeah.
The angry dead I find quite a disarming prospect. But the rest of these ghosts just sound a bit shit, and the pale gliding form could have just been a carrier bag.
Same with a tall man in a hat walking across Swains Lane before disappearing.
How do you know he's a ghost?
You just don't. It might be a local chap. There's a man in Highgate who walks backwards everywhere.
I don't like that.
Like a real man, a living man, who used to get the tube. Like, I would get the tubes from Highgate Cemetery, Highgate Tube Station.
Oh, I've seen him on Tottenham Court Road.
He goes to Tottenham Court Road and he lives in Highgate and he walks about everywhere backwards.
Oh, do you know, I've seen him on Tottenham Court Road several times, and the other person is like this older guy. He's probably Middle Eastern, and he has the hairiest back you've ever seen, and he always just wears shorts.
How do you know he's got the...
Because he never wears...
I love that that's on a level with the backwards man. It's like... Eccentricity.
He looks like a hedgehog, Molly. Seriously, he's really short, really hunched, and you know how like people who are going bald literally have hair halfway back their head, but they grow it long because they think that somehow. But literally, his back hair, he looks like he needs to brush it.
Oh my God,
that
no.
bad. He always wears shorts. I find
Do you think it's a medical condition?
I don't care. I just don't want to see him.
The Tottenham Court Road werewolf.
Tottenham Court Road werewolf. Yeah, there's next week. Sorry, so Highgate Cemetery, shit ghosts, awesome vampire, allegedly.
So what made them think that this might actually be a vampire, as opposed to just your run-of-the-mill spirits, with dead animals, drains of blood, and with their throat cuts appearing in the park and Highgate Cemetery? This is what made your boy Sean Manchester decide that it was actually a vampire. And he was obviously like, great, I'm in business, I can stop making coffee and take my exorcism business full time.
I can take off my Co-op bakery apron.
Yeah, do you know what? Shove this job. I'm going to go and rid my North London suburb of this demonic vampire.
I wonder if an exorcist... Why are you laughing?
No, I just love Sean Manchester's whole vibe.
I like the fact that an exorcist is going to try and stop a vampire. Because exorcists deal with demonic possession and ghosts. Now, a vampire is not. It's the reanimated dead. This is like sending a plumber to do an electrician's job. I'm worried for him.
I'm going to just put this out there. I don't think Sean Manchester really knows what the fuck he's on about. I think he
What an accusation.
I think... I think he's just clutching at straws, because he was the one that...
He's clutching at Co-op 90p baguettes.
Oh, God. Poor guy. Actually, no, not poor guy. I think he's great.
Can we get Co-op as a sponsor? I don't want them.
I admire his hustle. He was contacted by the sister of a beautiful 22-year-old woman whom I shall call Lucia.
Ooh.
So he was like the local go-to guy. If anything weird was going down, who are you going to call? Sean Manchester. So she was a somnambulist with two...
Cephalopod.
How did I pronounce it?
Cephalopod.
How's it pronounced?
Cephalopod.
I prefer cephalopod.
I'm going to get you a t-shirt with cephalopod on it. Carry on.
She had the two, like, pinprick dots on her neck, like a vampire.
Hot.
Had bitten her. I went to college with a boy who had that tattooed on his neck.
Edgy.
I used to see him walking about college, and even then I was like, oh no, what is he doing?
How long until you tried to fuck him?
I was definitely gay.
So, again, how long until you tried to fuck him?
I just, like, no, I didn't. Even then I was like, nah. It was like peak Twilight years. Which I hated, but now I can see the kind of ironic joy in it, because it's just such a flaming pile of shit written by a Mormon.
Okay, so what happened with Lucia?
So she kept sleepwalking to Swains Lane, and then Manchester followed her one night. So she's out going to Swains Lane, walking through Highgate Cemetery, and she walks into some catacombs, and he follows her in there, and here he finds a sunken circle of shadowy vaults and catacombs whose shelves occasionally spill their mouldy contents as if gorged with too many coffins.
Hot.
So, yeah, it's just a
gross mess.
Mouldy contents. Corpses. Am I right?
I'm going to say yes. But do corpses go mouldy, or do they just go a bit slippery?
Oh, I reckon they go mouldy.
Corpse mould? Probably. Let's find one.
Yeah. And yeah, what have you got to... What's the next part of this tale?
So, it's not directly following on from you, but this is where... carrying on with Sean Manchester. Hang on, we're still on Sean Manchester, right?
Always on Sean Manchester.
Do you know who he suspected the vampire of being? Because obviously by this point, he was sure, having seen poor Lucia wandering in her nightgown with heaving bosoms.
Obviously heaving bosoms.
So pert.
Long breath.
I think that, sorry, on a sidebar, I think Lucia was the kind of girl whose tits stayed the same shape even when she lay down.
Oh, yeah.
Nose spread.
I think her nipples pointed upwards.
I think that they, okay, I think she had pink, gorgeous nipples.
Yeah.
Symmetrical. Mm-hmm. None of that salami areola. You know, when you have a big areola.
Yeah.
And it's just brown. It's
yeah.
Oh, Molly, stop covering your chest. So he's obviously convinced, having followed nubile young 22-year-olds into crypts.
Convenient that it was a nubile young 22-year-old Lucia with pointy nipples rather than, like, Fat Alan or something, you know.
Pamela the dog.
Pamela the dog. Or like, you know...
let's go with Ian. He didn't follow anyone called Ian into a crypt.
No, it's never... I mean, not that I'm doubting his account.
No, me either. 100% on board. In the Hampstead and Highgate Express on the 27th of February 1970, he believed that a king vampire of the undead, a medieval nobleman who had practiced black magic in medieval Wallachia, now Romania, had been brought to England in a coffin in the early 18th century by followers who bought a house for him in the West End. He was buried where Highgate Cemetery now stands, and he believed that modern Satanists had brought him back. So the paper headline read, "Does a vampire walk in Highgate?" Vampire spelt with a Y-R.
A vampire.
Vampire. I want to suck your blood. He did kind of renege on this later and go, King Vampire from Wallachia was a journalistic embellishment. However...
This is what I'm talking about.
He did eventually, in the 1985 version of his book, go, yeah, it was an unnamed nobleman's body. How the fuck do you know who he is?
Why is he flip-flopping?
because he's a piece.
If you're going to go with there's a vampire in Highgate Cemetery, just go with it. You know, if you're going to put yourself out there that way and say, I, Sean Manchester, believe that a vampire walks in Highgate Cemetery, not only that, it's a king vampire of Wallachia.
I mean,
fight your corner.
Exactly, but also, I've never heard of a king vampire. I mean, you're just trying to make it more fun. I mean, like, I'm on board with it being more fun. But so far, all I have seen is that the vampire eats foxes.
Yeah, there's no missing people.
There's no dead people. You got Big Boob Lucia getting a
who is never mentioned again. She just, like, lived the rest of her life as a vampire.
Well, no, because she obviously wasn't turned. Because if you look at Dracula, which, let's face it, this has a few similarities with, fucking Tits McGee, not the main girl, but her friend, Lucy...
Oh, yeah, Lucy Weston...
Lucy
Westenra.
Westenra. She got nibbled on a few times and then went full-on vampire. So the rule of vampires is that they can turn you outright, but you turn into basically nothing more than a rabid, bloodthirsty corpse. Mm-hmm. But if they gradually perform the process, then you turn full vampire with autonomy and you're stronger. So obviously he was grooming Lucia to be a bride and not a thrall.
So where is she now? If this was 1970, she'd be what? 60s?
Let me Google. I tell you, a bit of live journalism.
Oh.
Let's Google.
Lucia, Highgate Vampire.
Lucia, Highgate Vampire. Lucia. I have an idea. Siri, what happened to Lucia and the Highgate Vampire?
Okay, I found this on the web for Lucia and the Highgate Vampire.
Why is he Australian?
I don't know. Why is my Siri now Australian?
Wait, what is this website? Horror of the
Dead. So far, it's not giving me. It's not giving me anything.
Highgate is so haunted. Like, that whole part of North London is.
It's so haunted, but I'm not getting anything about Lucia.
The fact the vampire made it into the papers. All we get nowadays is Brexit.
I'd rather have the vampires.
100%. It's so fun. It's probably also worth mentioning that round about this time, local teenagers were indulging in that time-honoured tradition of breaking into the cemetery at night and just hanging the fuck out.
Cool.
I'm
fine with that.
By 1970, a headless body was discovered by 3 15-year-old girls. They went into the catacombs. A nearby coffin was discovered without a nameplate, and Sean Manchester, who ignored the mood of foreboding which now engulfed us all.
Good job.
That always goes well, doesn't it? You know, when you're in a...
I like ignoring.
You know that way when you're in a fucking catacomb and there's an air of foreboding?
Yeah.
And you think, you know what, I'm going to ignore this.
I just go, fuck you, foreboding.
I'm going to go ahead, open this nameless coffin. Plot twist, headless corpse. Sleeping form of something that had long been dead, something nevertheless gorged and stinking with the lifeblood of others, fresh dots of which still adhered to the edge of the mouth, whose fetid breath made me sick to my stomach. The glazed eyes stared horribly, almost mocking me, almost knowing that my efforts to destroy it would be thwarted. Under the parchment-like skin, a faint bluish tinge could be detected. The face was the colour of a 3-day-old corpse. That's from Sean Manchester's book. He's a good writer. That's very, very evocative.
He's obviously got some skills about writing a narrative.
I like him.
I know we're getting to my favourite bit.
So, there'd not been any recent admissions to the cemetery. There hadn't actually been anyone put in the vault for 300 years. But there's this corpse. These are 2 separate corpses. So they found a headless body.
The woman.
And then they found this other one that he wrote that beautiful flowery description of.
Were we talking about the headless woman? Who was burned with a stake through her?
Yeah, I think I am. This is separate to the one.
Because in August 1970, the charred and headless remains of a woman's body were discovered not too far from that catacomb.
So I think it's fair to say that something's going on there. You know?
Well, again, the blame was placed on the Satanists, which...
Always with the Satanists?
It's always the Satanists. It's like, well, actually, a lot of Satanists don't adhere to devil worship as we think it. I think it's embellishments because of movies. It's just a shame because, like, obviously there are people messing around, animals being killed, there have been bodies found. Highgate Cemetery was already in decline by this point, and I think it's a case of hysteria, like, really affecting people. I mean, he was getting in trouble. He was going round opening coffins and putting garlic and incense in
This
them.
is the bit I'm at. He wanted to go stab it with a wooden stake, but persuaded by his assistant, he had an assistant, that this would be an act of sacrilege. He instead, again, time-old combination of salt, garlic and holy water, and then he performs an exorcism on this fresh corpse. And the vault was permanently sealed. This is not the end of the story, though. This is when shit gets really good.
This is the bit I know what we're coming to now, because I'm assuming we're talking about the fact that these two guys have been at each other's throats.
Oh, yes.
David Farron
This is the really
and
iconic bit of the
Sean
story.
Manchester hated each other. There cannot be two part-time exorcists in London.
This is the 1970s occult version of fucking Betty Davis, Joan Crawford.
When is Ryan Murphy going to make this
Alyssa
version?
Edwards, Coco Montrese, David Farron, Sean Manchester.
Alistair Crowley and whatever his name was.
Man, I love occult beef so much. It is my favourite thing in the world.
It is literally like two boys who love LARPing and then they fall out and they think that they're real wizards and paladins.
It's excellent.
Like, I love the occult, but these two piss me off.
I would love to have occult beef with someone. If there's any, like,
We can
witches
have
out.
one.
Yeah, but I feel
Oh,
like
are you about to call out witch? Okay, no, I'm going to let you finish that.
I was just going to say, if there's any witches out there that want to, like, have a occult beef with me, I'm open.
What are you going to do? Throw mojo bags?
Yeah. No, just write poems. Because that's all they fucking... That's what Crowley and Yates did. They just wrote, like, nasty poems about each other. Until Yates got kicked up the arse.
What if you... throw down the stairs.
Kicked down the stairs.
What if you pick a beef with a witch who's actually going to send demon on you? Unless it's an incubus, am I right?
I retract my statement.
No, it's too late. You've put that beef out there. Now fucking Griselda Von Trapp, or whatever her name is, probably Sarah Smith from Walthamstow, is going to beef it up with you. What was going to happen on Friday the 13th of April 1973?
I don't know, but guessing that it's Friday the 13th, coincidentally, this is the second mention of Friday the 13th in this story. Friday the 13th of March is when they live scheduled the vampire hunt on Thames TV.
Yes.
Just a synchronicity.
That is true, but you failed my question. We're talking about the beef.
Oh, tell me what happened with the beef.
What would you love to see two wizards do if they hated each other on Parliament Hill?
Duel.
So basically...
Astrally attack one another and then boot the loser down Parliament Hill.
They were going to have a duel with magic because they were so pissed off with each other. There was so much name-calling and denouncing that the only way they
Love a
could
good
settle
denouncing.
it... The only way they could settle it was to battle, and it never occurred.
Why did these two get into it? Why did the beef accumulate?
They just didn't get on. Like, each one claimed he could get rid of the vampire, and they basically just disagreed. One said he could do it, the other said, no, I'm better. It was one-upmanship.
I'm Team Manchester.
I'm going to go Team Farron, because
Ooh.
I just like taking the opposing side. Devil's advocate. So I'm really disappointed, because I would love to have known what would happen at this magician's duel. Things went a bit shit for David Farron, because all of this desecrating and attempting to stab corpses got him jailed.
Because he was going to carry out another unofficial exorcism. He was another unofficial part-time exorcist.
His excuse was it was the Satanists and not him. Blame it on the Satanists again.
Scapegoats, man.
Scapegoats. I've just show me the Satanists.
Yeah.
Where are the Satanists? It's just ridiculous. They're still so. According to the Wikipedia article, the beef is still going to this day. Each one saying that they are a good exorcist, a capable exorcist, and researcher of the paranormal, and then they shit on each other's expertise and findings. I just can't with them. It feels like they just need to be sat down and spoken to. Like, boys!
Yeah.
Boys! If you can't play nicely,
Yeah.
don't play at all.
There's
room for two exorcists.
My friend is a primary school teacher, and if the kids start like hitting each other, they go, "Do we hit in this school? Do we hit in this school?"
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, that's what the kids
'Cause
say.
they were
They
just
say
hitting each other.
yes.
Yeah, just hit him.
But I feel like that's what we need to do. Do we duel? Do we duel in this profession?
Do we duel on Parliament Hill
Do we
or
duel
anywhere
on
else?
Parliament Hill? They should have some kind of code. They should have some kind of like unofficial. This is why exorcists need to be official, because then there's a code of conduct. When they
policy.
When they go fucking freelance,
This is when shit happens. It's like bounty hunters.
this is what can happen.
Leave it to the feds.
Ah.
Yeah, it just annoyed me. They were two silly little boys, and I don't like the fact they can't get on. If you watch the film The Exorcist, there's more than one exorcist. They all the little priests get involved. There's enough ghosts in London and vampires and monsters to go round.
Oh my god, you're in London. Like,
I mean, I could go, do you know what? I'll take the Shapeless Horror in Soho. You take the fucking Highgate Vampire. It's alright, David. Let's go and have a beer afterwards.
yeah, this is what I always say. If you're going to dedicate your life to the study of the occult, society is against you. This is what I always say. They're always going to be
Society.
like, get a proper job. You know, go outside, meet a girl, move
back-
out of my basement.
Go back to co-op.
You need to work together to oppose that. You can't. It's like infighting.
Yeah, you're only going to make it shit for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sadly, the Highgate Vampire story trickled out until... You've got something to say.
No, I'm just laughing. Sean Manchester's house then became haunted.
No.
Yeah. So he lived on the border of Highgate and Hornsey, and people used to call his house the House of Dracula. So he moved in with his two assistants. Were they a throuple? Who knows?
Yes.
He was immediately struck by a demonic odour, the source of which was the remains of two black cats slaughtered as part of a demonic cemetery. Ceremony?
No, one of them clearly had IBS.
The cats?
No, the people. There were no cats. They were like, oh, this will make a great story, guys. But, unfortunately, Malcolm's IBS has given us the idea. Malcolm, we're not going to embarrass you. Mm-hmm. We're going to say the ugly smell, the haunting smell, was two dead cats.
So Malcolm just had, like, a really traumatic poo.
He had a spastic colon. And obviously...
And they blamed it on the Satanists again.
Again, sorry. No offence to anyone who's got a spastic colon or IBS. We're laughing with you.
I mean, we've all been there.
I haven't. I've never... my colon's great.
Oh, mine's not. I digress. The house was then haunted by a black spectre, something born of the devil, against which their only defence was the supply of garlic and holy water.
Why?
The house was just haunted, and then he went back. he obviously saw that this was somehow related to his constant bothering of the Highgate Vampire.
Yes.
He goes back to the catacombs, and he, with a mighty blow, I drove the stake through the creature's heart, then shielded my ears as a terrible roar emitted from the bowels of hell.
So he found it.
So he found it, but it's not clear as to exactly what it was. Like, he clearly identified... He went and, like, bothered a corpse and was like, oh my god, this must be the Highgate Vampire.
Do you think he just went around and stabbed every corpse he could find?
Probably.
Fucking idiot.
And then it just kind of trickled out. In the late 1970s, there was more animal deaths in Hampstead and Finchley.
But did it trickle out? Do you know this article?
Is this quite recent?
In the Daily Star, published
Top notch.
26th of November 2016.
Oh my god, work.
Witnesses say they have seen a floating man in a Victorian suit and top hat, apparently gliding through locked gates. Then it talks about the legend of him coming from Romania. And then, spooky, can you see the vampire spotted on the left?
Guess who's back?
In Highgate Cemetery. Look under the tree. Describe what you see. Can you see him yet?
It's a
man in a Mac.
It's a thing.
Look,
It's
look.
a man. It's a man in a.
It's a man in a raincoat.
It's a man in a raincoat.
I'm sorry. Now, I'm not an exorcist,
Oh, bloody hell.
part-time or otherwise. I'm not an exorcist, guys. But Google the Daily Star article about the Highgate Vampire, and I'm going. It's a full-on man in a coat. They describe in the article it being a man wearing a top hat and dark Victorian clothes. This is a guy who's
Oh my
gone to
God.
Uniqlo.
Yeah, that's just like some fashion beast taking a photo shoot.
Yeah. So basically, David Farron was then quoted.
He's still with us.
I think so.
Is he still
because
beefing with Sean?
He's talking about the fact it's so real, and he talks about this exuding atmosphere of menace. And I just.
I've never felt an atmosphere of menace in Highgate Cemetery. I've been there quite a few times.
So it was spotted in 1991 again. He was well over 6 feet in height, and he was very thin. I think it was the 7-foot man from the Tube stories last week.
Why are they always tall?
Why? Because clearly tall people have restless, unattractive spirits.
People back in the day were really short.
I know, like you and me. I think, again, he appeared to glide, there was no sound. The ground was littered with leaves, yet I heard no sound from him, nor did he take any notice of me. I'm going to stop right there and go, I would hate it if a vampire didn't take any notice of me.
Would you be offended?
Yes.
I would too. I'd be like, what's wrong with my blood?
I want to be a vampire.
Were you obsessed with... Do you have a vampire phase when you were a kid? Or like a teenager?
Vampire face?
Yeah. Vampire phase.
Oh,
Like, when you were really into vampires.
I kept it super secret, obviously, Jehovah's Witness, but I read Interview with Vampire and was like, this is hot. I could do some, like, full-on gay vampire sexing.
Vampire sexing?
I know, it's just... Another witness saw the figure float from Swains Lane in August 2005, and in 2012 it appears that the vampire was caught on camera, which it doesn't have here. No, it was that grey figure, soz. So I just wonder what it was.
I want this to be real so much.
Hilariously, there is a link on here to a really interesting video set in Tasmania about a small white creature that attacks a boy and draws blood. But when you freeze frame it, it looks like a flying cock.
Oh my god, it does.
With full-on glands.
Oh my god, no, that's
Does
really
that not
horrible.
look like... I mean, watch that video. Guys,
just a
watch the video
giant-
about the white creature in Tasmania
That's
drinking
like a-
blood.
Giant ghost dildo.
It really is. But the video is actually really compelling because it looks real.
I don't care for that screenshot.
I mean, I don't want a dildo flying around drawing blood.
Ideally not.
Dildos should not draw blood, flying or otherwise.
No.
If it is, you're doing... I'm not shaming you, but it should not be drawing blood.
I concur, absolutely.
I'm glad. I mean, that's one thing we can agree on. So, I love the idea of the Highgate Vampire. I want to think that there is a vampire king of the undead, waddling around, gorged with blood,
Don't we all?
sucking off...
Sucking off?
sucking
Why are
sucking on
vampires?
Lucia's tits.
Why are vampires so, like, erotically charged?
Because it's all about penetration.
Oh, yeah, it's such
And
a...
it offers penetration, perpetuating eternal life. And also, I mean, it's like they're meant to be charismatic and powerful. And how much would you want to be taken and penetrated by powerful? I
mean,
would.
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Oh, come, Molly. I mean, if talk
Yeah.
about, you'd be like, yes, take me now.
My favourite vampire is Nosferatu, though. Because he is so unsexy.
He is unsexy, but I reckon he'd make a really generous lover.
Do you think he would?
Should we take a second to talk about vampires in general?
Yeah,
I like his long fingers.
I do too. When
He would jimmy your clit and work your prostate because he knows he's not got a good face. But he would be like, look, it's about your pleasure. I get off on you getting off. I mean, I wouldn't want him to... I mean, he could rupture something with those fingers, though. And I would not kiss him.
What about the ears?
That's fine. I'd lick his ears.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let me give something back.
I think he would look better with a bit of hair, though. Like,
Everyone would look better with a bit of hair.
yeah. But his finger...
His fingers.
Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes.
The vampire movie. That's in my top 5 films
That-
of all time.
It is a great film, and I love what it does with the vampire myth. I like the vampires from Buffy. I like
watched
their
Buffy.
little smushy faces. They've got gross faces. I'm trying to think of a...
2000s Van Helsing is fun. With, what's his name? Viggo.
Mortensen.
Yeah. That's a fun watch.
No, you're thinking of Hugh Jackman, the famous
Hugh
closeted
Jackman.
homosexual, allegedly.
I always get them mixed up.
I mean, no vampire's going to want to bite him because there's a sheer amount of steroids in his blood. Watch the physical progression from him doing X-Men in 99 to now. There is no way that a man of his age with dropping testosterone levels.
Fuck no.
All these allegations, Andrew. I just think, like, the vampire mythology is so fascinating because they are so easily killed. They all live in castles with objects that can be easily twisted into religious symbols. All you have to do is hop over a fucking stream, pull aside a crumbling curtain to let in the day. It's amazing.
I would love to do an episode on just like vampire mythology.
We're going to have
generally,
to
'cause it
because
goes-
for such dangerous things, they're so easy. What? Let me say. Okay, I know that we're now rambling and diverging from the Highgate Vampire, but here is my final take on vampires. They go, how do we kill this super powerful and dangerous force of the undead? Chop its head off. Works on people. Put a stake in its heart. Works on people.
Oh, we've
Burn
had
it.
this discussion.
Works on people. Sunlight kills you a lot slower. It kills vampires instantaneously. It gives me melanoma. I can cross a running stream.
They can't cross
I
streams, can
love
they?
garlic. So am I stronger than a vampire?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the takeaway is being a vampire makes you charismatic and live forever, but it makes you easier to kill.
Yeah.
And what they're probably doing is waiting for the sun to burn out with entropy in billions of years' time, but then everything else will be dead. So, you know,
Do you
the
think they'll
vampire's just going to
thrive after the apocalypse?
Yeah, but it depends how many people have died.
Oh yeah, because they need to sustain themselves with blood. I am also a really
Molly
big,
there forgetting the key part of the vampire mythos.
I'm a really big fan of modern day like lifestyle vampires. Have you watched? They were on Dark Tourist.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Those like Americans that hang out and like donate blood to each other and just drink it cash. I really like them.
Let's try it.
There was this really weird phase in my primary school where 2 kids that I went to school with like decided that they really liked the taste of blood. and just used to like
I'm so worried.
sit in class and like
Kind of
prick their fingers and drink their own blood.
Jeremy Kyle bullshit is this?
Oh man, but yeah, it was just a thing. They were just like, oh, is that? Yeah, that was just another anecdote of where I
Your
lived.
bizarre childhood.
But yeah, my bizarre cow shit childhood.
Caked in cow shit. The Molly, whatever her surname is, story. Kitson!
The Molly Kitson story. Caked in cow shit. Born
Caked
from
in cow shit.
the ashes of cow shit or something.
Why did your mum burn? No. God, we go off on so many tangents. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed our story about the Highgate Vampire and miscellaneous ramblings, our furious vaping because we can't possibly stop for a cigarette break, which I feel like we should probably do in the next episode so you don't just hear all the time.
I think it's a nice sound.
Yeah, they probably like it. Tell us or don't tell us.
ASMR.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and speaking of which, I just fully cracked my knuckles right in front of the speaker.
Gross. What should we discuss next?
Do you know what I really like? I really like the way that we decide this on the spur of the moment while we're recording.
I know, it's so fun.
I think we should just make it a thing.
Okay.
So no, we're not allowed to prior discuss ideas. We have to like snap decide it.
We can
It's our
randomly
gimmick.
flick something in your... Oh, open the contents page of your Go See London book and I'll point.
Okay, like that's a form of divination.
What is it? Is it the
William Blake.
Have we done William Blake?
No, but I am actually going to veto William Blake because I love him too much.
We have discussed him, haven't we? Oh no, we did that on a different thing. Okay, so we're vetoing William Blake. Don't get too excited. I wanted to talk about angels and trees, but should we just go to
I
the
feel like
contents page?
we should do a William Blake episode, but I would need more prep because,
We all
he's
need
my
prep,
he's my
Molly.
boy,
Go
he's my
on, prep.
homeboy. If it's William Blake again, we'll just have to do it.
I don't know why I'm pointing.
Oh my god, you'll never guess who it is. It's Alistair Crowley.
Oh god.
That was just
No point has she gone to the contents page.
Highgate Vampire.
Oh my god! Guys,
It's been a long day.
it has been a long day. We vaped a lot, we talked some shit. Hopefully you stuck with us. 5-star reviews, please. I've been Andrew.
And I'm Molly.
And this is Ectoplasmic Fantastic. Goodbye.
Good night. Don't let the vampires bite.
Or let them.